Do you sell in artist alleys? Do you want to sell in artist alleys? These are my 5 favorite tips on how to have a successful artist alley experience. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Ashley of 𝐿SPIRIT Designs, a small art and stationery shop who has been selling online and in artist alley conventions since 2017. I do several different types of events and conventions up and down the state of California, occasionally branching out into other states like Utah or Nevada, and most of the shows I do are mid-sized to smaller events. But I've done over 60 events in the 7 years that I've been doing this, and I've learned a thing or two. I have been documenting my artist alley journey on YouTube since 2021, and I know a lot of the information and insights I give in these vlogs are really helpful to you guys who are just starting out or looking to expand their artist alley experience. It is super important to remember that every single person vending at an event is going to have a different experience from one another, even if many of them are following the exact same playbook, so to speak. So just please keep that in mind. But without further ado, here are some of my favorite tips that I've been growing and learning by for the last 7 years. And hopefully they will help you grow as well. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you don't miss any more of my tip videos or other artist alley content. Tip number 1, have a unique and eye-catching display. I feel like this is really something that's starting to take off in the last couple of years. Maybe I'm helping with the influence of that. But it's so easy to get lost in the visually overwhelming world that is artist alley. So it's super important to have a booth that stands out from everybody else. There are endless possibilities of how to do this, but the bottom line is you're going to want to make sure you match the vibe of your art style and or your brand, because that's going to be super important. Like, you don't want to have a super kawaii, cute pastel setup and then all of your artwork and merch is like dark and edgy, you know? Like, I feel like that's a no-brainer, but I just feel like I have to say it. My brand is very cutesy and bright and deals with a lot of pastels, and it also has a lot of cozy themes. So I have recently upgraded my booth to look like a little shop. I highly recommend doing sketches and experiments to find out what works best for you, but remember to keep it original. There's lots of places that you can reference how things are done or how other people do things. I have some videos on here in my YouTube channel where you can check out to see how I do certain things. But again, like, make sure it's original to you and something that's gonna stand out, because heaven forbid you are modeling after my display, for example, and we get set next to each other at a con and it looks like the same booth. I have a whole other video talking about that sort of thing too, but just be original. Tip number 2, track your inventory and your earnings. If you guys have seen my event vlogs in the last year, you will have heard me talk about my inventory spreadsheet. There are obviously tons of different ways to track your inventory. This is literally just one of them, but I like to make a spreadsheet with all of the different items that I sell broken down by different designs, and throughout the weekend I will track what sells on what day and total it all up at the end. I love to do this because I can look back and see what designs are selling best and even what types of items are selling best. So for example, I have found that a lot of my cryptid stuff does really well, and my die cut stickers are my #1 bestsellers, hands down. I would not have thought that last year. So you may be surprised sometimes of what is actually selling well, or maybe you sold more of something that you didn't remember selling more of. So it's just really nice to have those insights. In the same vein, I track all of my income at every event. And I break this down by the event date, by day sales, and types of income for each day. So for Friday, I'll track both card and cash separately, or whatever other forms of payment you're accepting. But this is also great information to just keep on record. That way, if you're doing the same event every year or however frequently they happen, you can look back and see like if you're growing, if you're making more from event to event. And even if you do an event once and you're like, oh, I don't know how well we did there, like, let me look back and see, oh, I didn't make enough to justify going back and doing that event. That's information that's crucial to have so you don't keep making expensive mistakes, or see which events are working the best for you. But hands down, for both of these types of things, however you track them, it's great to know, it's great information to have to grow and move forward and see what's working and seeing what doesn't work. And if you are interested in my inventory tracker, I know a couple people have asked for it, you can check out my Patreon. There is a post totally free where I give you a copy of a blank version, but you're gonna have to go in and edit it to be what works for you, because you're not gonna have probably the same types of items that I have at the same price points, but it's just a template that you can use for yourself. Even though I post a lot about selling at events and conventions, it's really important to remember that I also sell online, and most of you guys do too. Etsy is my highest grossing platform, and part of its recent growth is thanks to this week's sponsor, EverBee. EverBee is an extension for Etsy that plugs right into your shop to provide analytics not only on various keywords and niche topics, but your own shop and listings as well. And while you can sign up and use EverBee completely for free, the amount of data and research tools available in the growth plan is invaluable to an Etsy shop owner of any stage. Even if you already have an established Etsy shop, utilizing EverBee's research tools to analyze your own listings is extremely useful to see what aspects of your listings are underperforming and what you can do to enhance their visibility and get more sales. Even at the free level, EverBee is great for anyone who is researching niches or keywords for their Etsy listings to help give your shop a great head start. Or if you're interested in investing in your own business, like I do, you can join the growth program by clicking the link below. It is an affiliate link, so I'll get a little bit of a kickback. You don't have to use it, but it's a great way to support me in any way that you possibly can. Joining the EverBee growth program is incredible because not only do you get all of the tools that you would get on the free level, you get access to so many more and unlimited searches, and it's just a really great way to give your shop the boost it needs, especially going into Q4, which is the best and most spendy quarter of the shopping year. Now, let's get back to the con. Tip number 3, stand up behind your booth for maximum engagement. I have a background in retail and customer service, and I firmly believe in standing up behind your booth during business hours. There's a psychological thing to it, and I don't know all of the details about it, but I swear by it so much, and I'll give you a couple of examples. First of all, this is a great way to seem engaged, even if you're not speaking to anybody, not making eye contact, but it tells customers that you're on and you're ready to help them and answer any questions that they might have while they're walking by or checking out your booth. I've noticed from my own point of view, as a customer and as the artist behind the booth, that if you're sitting down behind your booth, especially if you're not like right there, sitting right in front of the window that you may have made for yourself, if you're sitting behind your booth, and especially if you're distracted by your phone or a sketchbook or anything else, you're going to come across as either disinterested or busy, and customers may not want to approach you and distract you from what you're doing, and you may lose out on a sale for that. I would also like to say that I know this is not a tip that everybody can participate in, whether you may have health concerns or a disability that prevents you from standing for long periods of time. And my alternative tip for this would be to get a stool or a director's chair to elevate your height and eye level while you're sitting down. Thank you, 𝐃𝐨𝐬𝐵𝐿 for the director chair idea, because that has been such a cool one. Tip number 4, have clear pricing and signage at your booth. I feel like this one is a no-brainer, but I have to say it anyways. So make sure that you have clear signs and clear pricing on your products, whether it be each product individually or just a general grouping of products, even if it feels unnecessary or redundant. And not only does this quickly and easily communicate any information you may want the customer to know without having to use the energy of talking unnecessarily, but it also helps customers, or maybe even you as the artist, who may be shy, and if they don't want to engage or interact unnecessarily, then they don't have to until they're ready to make the purchase. I also know that having signs for pricing is super important for anybody who may be casually browsing and they don't want to seem rude in asking the price in something if it's out of their budget. So showing immediately like the price of something gives them an idea of, okay, yes, I do want to spend money at this booth, or no, I'm not going to be able to support them, but I don't want to get their hopes up. And yes, there will always be people who are going to ask you what the cost of something is, or information that you may have clear signage of that's literally right in front of your face, but that's okay, because that gives you an opportunity to kind of break the ice with that person and get into the flow of maybe a conversation, and that could help lead to a sale, or at least a new follower. Finally, tip number 5, treat every single event you do as a learning experience. This is going to help you take note of the things you do right and the things you're doing that could improve upon for future stuff. And this is my biggest tip and most important tip that I tell anybody who ever asks me for any advice in an artist alley. There is opportunity to learn from every single experience that you do, whether it be a completely negative one or not. From the very beginning, after every event, Ryan, my partner, and I would, on the car ride home or wherever we happen to be if it's local, after the event we always talk about how it went, because he's there with me to experience all of it and what could be improved upon and what we could do differently, how we could do stuff differently, and what was working. We even do this to this day. I know not everybody has access to somebody to help them at events that may not have firsthand knowledge, so if you don't have somebody with you, definitely still take notes and maybe find other people in your life to bounce these ideas off of, or at the very least, communicate with your other artist friends or other convention-going friends and bounce those ideas off of them. I know there are a lot of groups and Discords where artists gather specifically for conventions. The Artist Alley Network on Discord is one of them. Your takeaways from these events could be as simple as, oh, I need to move this sign to be more visible to a different spot, to my stuff isn't selling well and I need to figure out what within my capabilities I can do to improve that. Please note that I say within your capabilities, and that includes financial capabilities. There's no reason for anybody to go ham immediately out the gate on a huge display only to find out that it's not going to work for you. Build up towards these things. That being said, it is always important to strive to be better and do better, especially if this is something that you want to do full time. And there will definitely be ups and downs. Again, this is going to be a very expensive learning experience for most people. And hopefully the things you do and improve upon will make it become profitable. So please, please, please keep that in mind. Bonus tip number 6. If you can, make friends with your artist alley neighbors. This is going to save you a huge headache if you have nobody to help you at the event and you need somebody to look after your booth while you do a bathroom or a food break. But also just building those communications is going to be something that may even benefit you way down the line. I really don't think I would be where I am today without building connections with other artists in Artist Alley, because those are people who are going to be very like-minded to me. They're in the same career path or at least the same hobby as me. And even if it's literally just a networking contact, those relationships are going to be beneficial in some way and eventually could possibly lead to true friendship. That has happened to me on various occasions with many of you guys who I know probably watch these vlogs. The moral of that part is that if you are building connections with other people around you, even if the event is horrible, you are going to have a good time because at least you have other people to gripe with about the terrible event and experience. And those are some of the tips that I have learned to grow and live by while doing Artist Alley over the last 7 years. And again, just a disclaimer that these tips do not guarantee huge success at these shows, because there will always be other factors outside of your control that may contribute to why a show is not working out for you or why it didn't go very well. But these are some things that have helped me grow over the years and bring in record-breaking income event after event, and not trying to brag, but that's with original characters and art and not doing any fan art most of the time. Everyone will have a different experience, and some of these things may or may not work out for you for a variety of reasons. But if you guys would like to see a more thorough breakdown of any of these tips, leave me a comment down below. And as always, I hope this video was helpful in some way. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave a comment below with any of your favorite Artist Alley tips for having a successful event. Anyways, I will get on with the rest of my day, let you get on with yours, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!